Like me and the ex talked about this, like after, like during the divorce proceeding. I was just like, we had like a couple weeks
You had a
later,
proceeding?
like,
I
oh
just kicked to the curb.
no, we
Yeah, we're just gonna start this shit live.
The only time I caught the Holy Ghost was when I was in church drinking.
Like they're two dumb dudes. Welcome to the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast.
Oh man, so Sarat, I think you should definitely go to the doctor and get that checked out, man. You should have blisters in your buttholes.
I'm gonna go to the doctor, and all he's gonna tell me is, "Yes, you definitely look better than Marcos." Like that's the diagnosis.
It's like you definitely should not have burning and itchiness in your anus. So anyway, so
Listen,
today's
no.
movie,
Listen, you eat some shit. If you eat some shit, let's be honest. You eat some shit, you might have some burning and some itching. Get that swamp ass. Listen,
That's how
you can't be afraid of the ingredients.
That's how Cambodians.
Don't make me.
Sarat, also, I just want to thank you for letting me borrow your nunchucks. You know, I know how Asian people love their Asian toys, so I appreciate
I got.
you, brother.
I actually got a couple of my.
Can you use them? That's
Looking
real
like
question.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Man. But can you use them?
And Chris, thank you for the box of pork chops. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, no doubt, baby. You know, straight from the chevron.
Yeah, this is Poe from Kung Fu Panda over here.
I do see some dumplings. I got some in my freezer.
Oh,
Hey man,
that sounds good. Do you like dumplings like pan fried, fried, or in the soup?
I like them all.
I don't say steamed. I
Okay.
don't know.
But then, like to me, when you steam them, they turn into soup dumplings. So
No. Soup dumplings are completely different. I mean, you know, like a pot sticker.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
how, like
I don't know. But soup dumplings, man, you bite into one without verifying the temperature. That's a crazy surprise.
Yeah, you gotta pop it and pause, suck it
It's
out.
like, ah, like I can't
That
taste
broth
for
before
3
you-
days now. I just burned my entire roof of my mouth.
you know the tons of fats in the heart of the body.
Well, speaking of
You get-
extracting things, welcome to the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. It's your boy Sarat, aka Makazi.
It's your boy Marcos, aka at the Sunset Kid. How's everybody doing out there?
the fuck out of here. It's your boy Chris Brown. Get ready for Delta. How's everybody doing out here? That's my line, goddammit.
Y'all just gonna be battling. It'll be Big Pun and Notorious FAT.
Well, fucking big pun is Joe over here. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But
man.
no. So the movie this week, Marcos picked, and I was actually interested in watching it. I never got around to watching it. So I'm glad you.
I'm just gonna say it out there. It's probably one of the greatest action movies I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Like, bro, the
That's
cinematography on this,
high standard to be putting on.
man, bro. I'm gonna say it up there, bro.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? You could get?
No, I didn't say that. I misspoke. I'm Hispanic. English was technically
Freudian
not
slip.
my first language.
Oh, man.
Whatever. There's the raid, redemption, and then this. Those are my top three. Like in terms
okay.
of movies that I'm like, yo, these are fire.
Okay.
Like you know what I mean? Like, bro, there was parts in this movie. Like, I welcome the scenes where they quote unquote acted because you need breaks.
Okay, so why don't you let the people know what movie we watch this week?
Well, you said it already, but we watched Extraction 2 starring Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Amazing movie. They had a small cameo by, the rapper, the actor, Idris Alba.
Oh yeah.
The rapper, the actor, Baker. I don't know if you guys seen that video on social media. Like, motherfucker.
No, I just know he used to train in Muay Thai.
Yeah, he does everything. My man was probably my manager at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Idris does everything.
Why did you like, because this movie came out a while ago. So why did you pick the movie for this week?
Because I believe it's a movie that everybody should see. Extraction 1 was phenomenal. And I hated the fact that, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Extraction 1, you should probably not listen to a podcast about Extraction 2. At the end, we thought that Tyler was dead.
No, listen to this shit. Then go back and rewatch and see if you could just verify everything we said. We'll go on.
Like, I thought Tyler was dead, which is Chris Hemsworth's character. But I like this little nod, and I might be wrong on this, but I took it as, you guys ever seen the Born Identity movies,
Of course.
Those are my
where
favorite.
at the end, like, you think the character is dead, and then all of a sudden he's like swimming off. Like, I felt like they did a little nod of this at the end of the first one, and then in the second one he kind of like and they resuscitate him,
Yeah.
and then this man spends like a shit ton of time in the hospital. Like, honestly, it's the fight scenes on for a U.S. produced movie, like, production. Uh, this is amazing. Like the action packed, the prison scene. Oh my god! Like that entire sequence from him
Why you
breaking
say it like
in,
that? Oh my god.
because it's dope. Like, I'm an action fan. Like, everything I like, I love these kind of movies. These are kind of movies that
Hold
you
on.
don't
That's
overthink.
it.
You're not like, oh, it's superpowers, or it's like, nah, bro. It's like they sprinkle in some common sense with military, and then you're off to the races. Like, bro, there was certain
Is,
times when he got rocked with the pipe.
is it
It's
common
like
sense military? Chris, you got the military background. Does
Um,
this feel like
it's
these
some
guys might have had some
like
military
it's a
training?
mixture. You know what I mean? It's
uh,
movie magic and military. Come on.
yeah, there was some scenes in there. I was just like, okay, yeah, that ain't really true. But for movie
What do you think
purposes, it
about the
was good.
movie? You know what I mean?
No, I liked it, but my thought process was it was more action than story.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
what you talk about? One of my favorite movies, Raid. That was more action, but it had a story to go with it. Versus the Raid 2 was more story with action. Like in my opinion, Marcus, I agree with you. That's number one and two. The way they did it was both good. The action, this one was dope, but I knew it was just like, okay, yeah.
I
Ugh.
mean, the story was established. It's something, because it's like, if you watch the first one, and it basically correlates. Like, the main character Tyler, he's a mercenary. When you pick him up in the first movie, he's already divorced or separated from his wife. There
Hmm.
was trauma, and they alluded to that. Like, live, or like, he wanted to help the kid in the first movie because it reminded him of how helpless he was with his son when his son passed, and he felt the guilt of not being there. So they kind of continued it. They already laid the groundwork in the first one, and then they introduced the wife in the second one, and it was kind of like the allegory, the lesson I took it is like there's, like, in impossible situations for the people that you love, you kind of move heaven and earth to like help them.
Yeah.
Like, he did all this. If you break it down into very simple details, he did all this to try to get back in the good graces of the love of his life. Like, for her to
You
get to
think
a
so?
point. Yeah, I think so. Like, I think he did it because, number one, he has that guilt that at the end she kind of unburdened him when she said it wasn't your fault, but he had that guilt that he was carrying. And the fact that guilt led him and to lose his relationship with his ex-wife. It wasn't like, oh, they weren't compatible. It was like he couldn't deal with what was happening with his kid, and he submerged himself at work. If this guy was an accountant or truck driver, this is very relatable.
No,
When
I get that.
no,
What you say, man?
I'm just saying, hey,
What you say, man?
sometimes you go to the road to get the answers that you can't get yourself.
Yeah, true.
You know what?
Chris,
Okay, I will argue that.
yeah, yeah. Chris,
There you go. Hey,
Chris done
man.
got a lot of gems from lot lizards over the years.
Ah,
And a lot of other things.
I know. I just think, yeah, I'm along the same lines as how you feel, but like, one, I don't think he was trying to get back in the good graces of his ex-wife. I think, again, that burden of like how he felt, how helpless he felt for when his son died. I think he's, I think he's trying to atone for something in himself where he felt like he was, just unworthy, or like he in that moment he wasn't the man he was supposed to be, and he's been trying to do things in his life to like make him feel that again, make him feel like he can atone for that and be the person that he should have been when his son passed away.
Yep.
you
hmm.
know so
And
I think that's why, like, that's his driving motivation in these movies. Again, I like the movie, I like it a lot, actually, and I appreciate the little bit of story that they got in here, because there was enough in there to help you, like, attached to the characters. Like when Yaz
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
was
there's
he's one
enough.
of the most lovable characters there. I felt the loss.
Yeah, no, because it builds up enough of that relationship with him and the other people that when it happens, you feel that loss. Because he could have easily just been a side character that you don't really feel that attached to, but you know,
He was a G though. He went hard. He went hard in the paint, man. Like I mess with his character. And then this is another movie, and this is the movie that started my theory of teenagers be teenaging. Like that son, bro.
no, man.
Like
But here,
I was waiting for that one.
right,
yo,
I was
go.
waiting for it.
like yo, the entire movie, like yo, if I was with his crew and I would have been by himself with the dude, I would have been like, bah. That's it. Like,
But, I mean, that kid, you know, you grow up with a father that you know is like so
that's beating your
overbearing.
mom. That beats your mom daily.
No. But his dad's so overbearing. He kind of taught him like, hey, this is what being a man is like. And then you know, so he's got that dichotomy of like, you know, he's got his mom who's protecting him, but he also was kind of brainwashed by his dad to be like, you know, I'm doing all this for you guys.
Mhm.
Right? It's hard. Like I don't agree with what he did because clearly, like you know, once you open up the iris and you look at the whole picture, you see that like his mom was doing a lot to try to protect him and get him away from all this you know hecticness going on in their life. But you know, if you grow up in there, it don't really feel that hectic. And then if you love your dad, if you believe in your dad, like his lessons are gonna feel like that's the truth, right?
And
Chris?
like, bro,
You old
like
kids.
You know, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you imprint on your parents. You know what I'm saying? I hate to use like ducks as an example,
No, you know,
but the
use Twilight as an example. Fuck
yeah, I was
ducks.
about to
no,
say, okay,
no, no, no,
Jacob,
no, 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 I can't use Twilight. Twilight imprint on the baby. That's fucking weird.
isn't that a
You know what I'm
Twilight
saying?
poster behind you?
Fuck no.
Yeah, that's Jacob's chest.
I thought you were gonna look back to triple check.
No. I know it's behind me.
Like, oh shit, I thought I took it down.
No, look, only one of us.
I love you, Jacob.
Only one of us dressed up like Jacob for Halloween, but I ain't gonna say no names.
First of all, it was a good costume.
Hey man,
Tattoo
I
and
like
everything.
Twilight. I read the books and watched the movie. I don't care. I'll put it out there. I'll put together a Twilight podcast just single handedly.
We're fans of the Twilight
Yeah.
movies.
Who's we?
I know you like Twilight. You're the one fucking was like, yo, I need to see Breaking Dawn 2. My girl's in it. You know, she got that nice.
What girl? Oh, the blonde. Yeah, I like her.
You talking about the Nepo actress that got the first actress fired?
That's what it was. The one
no.
that couldn't find love. She was in love in the like back in the 50s in the Vampire Bitter.
No, he's talking about Rosalie.
So,
See, I know
no,
the names.
not Rosalie. Rosalie's the daughter, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Rosalie's one of the vampires. Yeah, one of the girls. Are you talking about fucking?
I'm talking
Bryce
about
Dallas Howard?
yeah, the one that she took over. I thought the original actor was better, but
Well, I
you know.
mean, the original actor, like, I think there was some issue with, you know, from what I heard, there was some backstage issues and stuff like that. So,
but,
but
you know,
Bryce Dallas Howard's dope.
she is.
Well, Chris, what's your so Chris, what did you like? Did you know what's your take on this movie? Like, as far as action movies, because you know you wax poetics about certain action movies, and how does this fare against those? Because like Marco says, this is number 3 behind behind the Raid.
Well, I've said it until I see a better movie. The Raid, the first one, is phenomenal to me. And one of the reasons why I like it is because it's not just choreographed fights. They look and feel real. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's using his style to fight, but he's also using the wall. He's also using bricks. He's like you think he's in a real fight in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you telling me that Tyler Chris Hemsworth's character is not using anything to fight? Like he was Mr. Gadget in this movie.
Okay, he was. But what it caught me is I know what kind of bullets come in the helicopter. And he's got looks like a 240 shooting back at it. Now, granted, it can do some damage, but what is the probability that you will take that chopper down before he gets you? That's not really like.
Okay, so
That's the
you're saying
movie magic.
You're
That's
saying
the
some
movie
of the
magic.
some of the entertainment aspect is a little unrealistic.
Like, come on now, man.
But
You're not Thor in this movie, all right?
First of all, I think this is Chris
That chopper should have tore
Hemsworth.
you down.
I think this is Chris's best character. I like him in this than I do, and I do love him in Thor. But I think he's better. He's more himself. Like the part when when they're in the SUVs and they're like the mom asks him a questions like, oh, what are we gonna do to protect ourselves? He's like, what are they gonna do to protect him from me? And he's like, he just flashed a smile, like he's insane. Like this movie when he starts shooting at everybody.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, the action was dope. I just know some things like I said, the helicopter scene. Like you name me one human that can go toe to toe with a helicopter. You can't because they're fucking dead.
But
I get it. I get it.
I'm pretty sure other Extraction 2 to the
Listen.
military operation standard operating action.
Listen, it's not just that, but like also, if you're gonna hold that standard up, then Mad Dog in the raid ain't taking on two people like that.
Yeah.
For real.
I don't know.
All
I don't know,
4'9" of his ass.
Look, his ass was whooping the ass, and one of them was injured.
I'm saying because it's the movie, because they made it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, they did.
One of the choreographers.
Okay,
How
look,
many
look,
4'9"
look,
people taking on people that are twice his size and his weight,
Sriracha
and they
dog?
know how to fight just like him?
My dog will take you down, bro.
But nah, you gotta look at that because in the movie, this is a movie, it's choreographed, but it felt real. Like he still lost, but he lost like a fucking champ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So are you saying the suspension of belief is bigger in this movie in Extraction 2 than it was in the raid?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I can see that, but I also
It was still a good movie. I'm not knocking the movie.
Yeah.
But just some parts of it just like, come on now, really?
Yeah. There was
Even
stuff
when-
where when I was watching, I was like, it's I appreciate when people shoot guns and they don't hit nothing because that's more realistic. Like you're not always gonna be fucking like most people just don't have good accuracy, but like when you can just take one shot with a fucking what is it, a little grenade launcher and just hit everything. I was like,
it was like Wolf Warrior. That was accuracy. Hit everything but the guy.
He meant to do that. That's part of his action standpoint.
Oh man.
oh shit.
But
So do you think
Nick was amazing? She was also a very fleshed out character.
Who?
Like Nick, the chick that his handler in the beginning of the movie that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like when she on the train, man, that frustration. She was like, that was amazing when she got to the conductor's room and she had to fight that dude, and she just like at the end when she like finally stabbed him, she was like, God damn it! Like,
see, I think again because of her character and her relationship with Tyler, I think that's why to me I didn't feel like Chris Hemsworth's character was trying to get into the good graces of his ex-wife, because you could clearly see the relationship he had with
but I don't think they pushed it to like. I think it was a tease. Like she definitely had feelings for him.
Yeah,
but Tyler had feelings for his ex-wife.
No, but the thing is, I don't know if he had feelings. He had this guilt, and then he had this feeling like when you look at someone, you fucking let them down, and that ain't you. Like you could just when you walk around them, you're just kind of meek. You're kind of like small because you feel like there's nothing I can say right now that can make her that could put me on their level, because I know from my past, I'm kind of a piece of shit right now. Right, Chris?
Are you calling yourself a piece of shit right now?
I'm not what you all the time. Only on Sundays.
No, but I mean, like, have you ever felt like you needed to get back into not necessarily in the good graces of someone, but like, have you ever felt like you let someone down to the point that it's hard to just look at them in the eye?
Oh, definitely.
I think everybody has.
It was directed towards me, Marcos. No, I'm joking.
Excuse me. I'm gonna just go ahead and play with my nunchucks. Then I'm just.
All right, I was to go for it.
Look,
all I saw was that clip of the black dude. I know y'all seen it. He's doing the nunchucks and hits himself in the face. It's like the backflip.
You look like you're just holding two chorizo just around your neck.
Oh man,
The Rock keeps thinking about me with food all the time. It's like, yeah, hold those chorizos.
But no,
here's some plums.
The Rock's just hungry. Oh man,
actually, I am. But no, like Chris. So what about when you've had to had to face someone where you felt like you were just you let them down at some point.
I mean, you gotta deal with it. It's not an easy pill to swallow. It's not an easy thing to do. But if you know that you were wrong or you did something wrong, it's not gonna get fixed until you make that first step. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to make that step knowing that they don't owe you an apology. They don't owe you to forgive you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you put out there like, look, I fucked up, I was wrong, I apologize. How it goes from there is how it goes. But you
Yeah.
but you did the best you could do to fix it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. What about you, Marcos?
Man, yeah, I've had to humble myself when I knew I did somebody wrong, and honestly, uh the reason that you justify at the time that you're doing somebody wrong, or like you let it fall by the wayside, is something that, like, oh man, I was being a dick, and apologizing to the person or owning up to it is not also the thing. I think the embarrassment, at least for me,
Hmm.
of knowing that I've wronged, that now I have to, like, you know what I mean, like, oh, I'm not that type of person, and then it's like the realization, like, fuck, you are, like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
whether you're gonna lie about it later, you are, like, you know what I mean, like, and it's like it's telling, because I think sometimes when you're growing up, and this happened to me multiple times, that I realized that the perception that I had of myself,
Hmm.
it's more like, it's like I see myself as a hero when I'm not the hero in everybody's story, when I am completely the villain, no
Yeah.
matter the
Hmm.
situation. But because of my own selfishness and my protection to to have my own ego protected, I don't see it like that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something, Marcos?
Huh?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too personal. And if I heard you correctly, what you basically just said is when you can be a shitty person.
Yeah.
And I'm not pointing fingers. I know I can be. I know when I can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shut up, Sarai. You suck my ass, okay?
You said stick it up your ass.
No, I said
Whoa.
suck my ass. It's different.
Oh, my bad.
Look, that's the other
But
podcast, okay? No, but nah, like you remember when you had that realization that you're not always a hero, like you can be a shitty person. And how'd you come to terms with that?
you know what? Like, you come to terms with that when you're on the other end.
Mm,
But for me, it was like I like to say, call it the karmic, you know, uh amends comes up, or like, like all the shoe drops. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
you do something to somebody at a certain point, I believe that the universe will come back, not to spite you, but to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, now that you have both perspectives, and I think as you grow with age comes a lot. Like, I don't think the same way that I thought even 5, 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I'm more like, I think in our conversations, Sarah, I said, I'm more of understanding of somebody. Whereas
Yeah.
before I would judge them.
Yeah.
I one of my favorite things to say now is, like, I don't yuck people's yum. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
And you
like
and you talking about me always talking that you thinking about food when your realization shit is literally some food shit.
no, but like, and this is something that my wife told me about. Is like, you basically don't shit on somebody, on something that makes somebody else happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what
mhm,
I mean? Like, okay, in the industry you're in, Sarat, like, my thing, like, if people are like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to this meet and greet to meet somebody, and it's gonna cost me $200, blah blah, and I'm gonna stand in line, like, like old me would be like, bro, that's whack. Why you gonna do that? Now I'm like, yo, I'm happy. Like, yo, that sounds exciting. Like, even if it's not something that I would do,
Yeah.
mhm.
you know what I mean? Because I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, or I would be like, oh, that excited. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna, like, if you like if you're like, oh man, Marco, if Chris, you're like, man, like this new spot they came out, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to think about something like, oh, this new spot has its pork chops on the menu. I'm excited. Or like, or like
I
or like you send me a link and there's showing like a new truck or something, that you're like, yo, this is a crazy, like, I'm gonna save up to buy this truck. Just look at all the stuff. I'm not gonna be like, yo, what the fuck, I don't know nothing about this, or I don't care
yeah,
about that. Like,
mhm,
I'm gonna be excited for you. Like, you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, instead of like
Instead
I
of shitting on you,
yeah,
it's like
like
it's like
a lot of times, like, I used to associate my relationship with the person with what makes them happy. Like you ever met somebody that it's like that can't do it, can't do something like financially speaking,
Yep.
and you're sitting back as a third party. You're like perfect thing, Mania. I know a lot of cats that are like putting themselves in debt to go to Mania. Like I'm not like you know what I mean. Like I'm paying things late and stuff like that, and then it's like you sit there as the way I think, but this is Marco's thinking. Yes, I might think like certain other people. I'll be like, man, that's stupid. Why are you doing that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these events will be there all the time. But I don't know that person's thinking. That person might be going through some struggle, like, mentally, and they just need a break. They need something that brings them to happiness.
Yeah.
And for me to try to like, diss that or like try to change their mind, that it's not my place. And it's like that all comes back to like maybe I'm not a good person in a certain situation. You know what I mean? Like at a certain time I thought that this was the best for me,
Yeah.
but my selfishness made me change my character from that point on. Like, you know what I mean? People like saying, "Oh, I'm in my selfish era," but I was like, "Yeah, you being selfish can also mean that you're being the villain to somebody else's story."
Well, I was gonna
Like,
put it, so like in the same vein as that, like I think what some people don't realize, and I think this is kind of how like Tyler's character took it. Like in that moment, he felt like he couldn't handle something, so he handled it the best way he thought he could, which was to run from it, to just to engulf himself with work and do the things that can distract him so that he didn't have to think about it. And you know what? I will never fault anybody for handling a situation the way they feel they need to handle it. But you have to understand that, sometimes handling things the way you want to puts you as the villain to someone else because they might need you to, to be someone else in that moment. And depending on how that person or depending on the relationship you have with that person, how important they are to you, it can ruin it. It can really change, a person's relationship with someone. So, I know in regards to the movie, it felt like he did what he had to do in order to handle the situation. But in doing so, it painted him as the bad guy to his wife, who she needed him there to like, because she couldn't handle it on her own. And she thought like maybe in that moment, I would be worth him changing the way he handles things in order to help me out with this situation. And when he wasn't, it's kind of like a,
and
how do you
and
go back
think
from that
about
situation?
the basicness of how his relationship fell apart. Like he explained it. Like, the kid needed treatment and all this stuff, and he was like, this is how I provide. I can't do nothing here. Like he felt like he wasn't doing anything being by the bedside.
Yeah.
So he had to go on these missions to make sure that they had enough money to make whatever medical improvements happen.
Yep.
And she kind of like turned it around on him. And that's the part that you don't see like Mikaze said, you don't see the entire picture.
Yeah.
She was like, yo, we'll figure out that financial thing. Like we need to be here. And it's kind of like you ever like I unfortunately when my dad passed, he passed suddenly of COVID. I the emotions, most of the emotions that I had from that was regret because me and him did not have the excellent relationship up until then.
Yep.
Like we hadn't spoken like 2-3 years, and it's not like we were estranged. It was just like me and him got into an argument, and I was like, I'm gonna put this man on timeout. Like you know what I mean. And then we never squashed it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure, like if I called him, it wasn't gonna be like, oh, we still mad at each other. But like I never was like, hey,
Take
dad, how
time to
you
be
doing?
like, yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't have that, and now that's regret. Like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but during the time before this, when people are like, oh man, I noticed you haven't talked to your dad about blah, blah, blah. Like my cousins on my dad's side of the family, I'm like, nah, man, the last time, you know how my dad could be. But in my mind, my selfishness was like, nah, this is the best for me in this moment.
Yeah.
Where, the greater good was like, man, I should have repaired that relationship. And now,
How do y'all approach a situation where you're doing what's best for you and what works for you, but in that moment when you realize like it's not best for everyone? that you love. How do you approach that situation?
I, at least for myself, I also, it's funny because I have like these statements in my mind. I try not to
Have it your way.
uh, no,
Double Whopper, baby.
I try not to make permanent decisions on temporary feelings.
I've heard that before.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is not something that happens, but like you guys been in relationships, if I get into an argument with my wife, I'm not packing a bag and
I don't do
walking out.
ships. I don't do ships.
Yeah, he can't swim, so
But you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's it, we done. Like, you know what I mean? That's something that never comes out of my mouth. Like, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, like we're done, we're getting a divorce or something crazy like that. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And because over the years, I'm like, this is just life. You can't, because you're upset about something now doesn't mean that 10 minutes later you're gonna be like, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's something that, if I'm being honest, when I was younger, I was on my Jerry Seinfeld. Like, anything with any type of relation, whether it be friendship or not, I'm like, I'm not feeling this. And whether it's something like mad simple, oh, he tried to play me. Like, that's the New York phrase. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he tried to play me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not rocking with him. And it's like, instead of me being like, hey man, whatever you said or whatever action you did made me feel this way, like, you seem cool. Let's not do this anymore. And then 99% of the time, the person will be like, my bad.
No,
All right.
I mean, it's also being cautious of yourself. Like a few episodes back, Marcos. Now I thought about this.
Chris has really good recall, so you'll say some shit, and on the episode, then Chris will be like, "Hey, man, remember
I'm
that
not
time
a
you
perfect
pulled
man.
up that dildo?"
No. What? No, what?
This man is hungry and horny. Talking about dildos and food over here.
Whatever your weekend plans are, man, just enjoy it. That's all I can say. Enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? 2025. Shit. But I made a joke one day because I told you the time where during the podcast, you someone you doing something, you was out, and you was like, I think you didn't have your wedding ring on, you trying to find your wedding ring or whatever. And I was like, which one? And I was making a joke like, it's poor shit. But I forgot to end the podcast about you being married more than once. And I was like, I had not apologized for it because for me, and then I mean, it was nothing. We talked about it, but for me, being cautious of the fact that I just made a joke that might not have been a joke because I don't know your full life. You know what I'm saying? So
like, I'm a person, like, I'm very open about my divorce, and because like that was a thing, I felt shame. I felt shame because at a certain point, and like me and the ex talked about this, like after, like during the divorce proceeding, I was just like, we had like a couple weeks
you had a
later,
proceeding? I just kicked that bitch to the curb.
No, we I am legally divorced, so I can legally marry my wife that I have.
I'll legally divorced too. Put her in the swamp of Louisiana.
But yeah. Anyway, like we had a conversation, and like at first I because the Catholic upbringing, like I was just like, once you commit, it's to death do you part. Like I took that seriously, and I pulled away from like a lot of my social like friends, and it's funny because the friends that I made while I was like in this, like, I'm not messing with anybody here, because like a couple friends and all that stuff, because I felt like a shame.
Yeah,
I ended up getting friendships like you guys that are like, oh, like, I'm fine. But it's like after I came to the realization, I was like, no, we were just two people that we forced something that we found out together that it wasn't something that we should have been in. Sometimes you change. You meet somebody when you're young, and then two people grow up. Like, granted, I didn't have the life experience as she had. Like, she was married before she had a child.
Yeah.
And I was just a guy that I was like, oh, everybody's getting married in my friends, and we've been together for a while, and this is logical next step. But nobody told me about, you got to be honest with what you want, what your needs are.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean? I just
yourself.
thought that, yeah, like, what I mean? Like, one of the things, it's funny, she didn't like the fact that I was a wrestling fan and would try to clown me to the point that I abandoned like watching wrestling. All my hobbies were childish.
Yeah.
That
She wasn't marrying you. She was marrying the idea of having a husband.
yeah, and that was my thing. And then
Well,
now
when you're a single woman with a kid, and the idea of, hey, there's actually, I'm women. I'm just putting myself in that train of thought. If I'm a single woman with a kid, I feel like I might have some things on my plate or on my list that like people might check off as like, I'm not trying to mess with that. But once I find somebody who's like okay with that, I might be okay to try to like, further that along. And then, when you start seeing that they're, trying to not necessarily in love with you, but just in love with the idea of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's like, okay, like, can you make this work? Can you guys grow together, or are you just not compatible?
like
That's when it gets fucked up. I mean,
that's
you
that's
can't
a
love,
reality.
you can't follow potential.
Yeah.
Like
And I know, honestly, for me, I was guilty
like
of it.
like
What I'm saying?
I'm gonna put my business out there. There was one argument. It was funny. Like it was my birthday weekend in New York. I had just turned like 28. Me
She
and this
walked in,
girl
she
had,
was like, chocolate cake, ew. And you were like, man, fuck this bitch.
no. It was something like as frivolous as that, right?
Yeah.
Like I had turned 28 and we gone to New York. Most of my family, and this was during the time where I would go to New York monthly because like I wouldn't leave New York behind. Like you know what I mean? Like I was I had a comfortable life here, but like I'm like, man, like my cousins, everybody's in New York, like I gotta go hang out with them. And we went out and we went to this Dominican club, and she was very immersed in Spanish culture. My ex is black, and we're out there, and
Sorry.
she one of my good friends that ended up being her friend, and she like I like to say she took her in the divorce was this Puerto Rican girl,
Yeah.
like platonic as can be. Like I'm talking about like like I met her through a friend, and it was like, oh, we just knew the same people and we're like the same age, so we were cool. And my cousin, being a needle pusher, like we were like sitting there dancing. I was dancing with with my our friend, Puerto Rican friend, and then he goes drunken to start shit. He goes, "Oh man, like my cousin looks great with so and so. Like look at them. Like I wish you guys had that rhythm." And then she got upset, started an argument with me, and then my cousin was super drunk. So we're leaving, going back to the hotel. I drop off our friend because she has family up there, so we dropped her off at her friend's house. I'm driving my cousin back home.
Mhm.
Before we went to our hotel, my cousin's passed out drunk, and then we get into an argument, and we had this conversation of like she's like, "Oh, I don't like this," and then we somehow get into a conversation while we're in the middle of an argument about our types. And she said to me verbatim, "This is something that stuck with me, and I should have had the red flag there, but I continued." Was like, I said, "So what's your type?" She was like, somebody that looks like Morris Chestnut, comes from a proud black family," and I'm like, like, all this,
Marco looked at her like, what the fuck? That kind of mirror you was looking at when you looked at me?
and I'm like, and I literally, I was like, "Oh, so not me." And she was like, "No," and I'm just like, and then she was like, "What's your type?" And then the toxicity comes out when you get insulted. And I should have been like, this is
Oh,
probably a
Chris knows all
conversation.
about this.
Like I was like,
That's what
we
you
should
say.
probably have this. I was like, we should probably have, instead of me saying we should probably have this conversation at an appropriate time and just let's continue during the evening.
Yeah.
I said, well, if I'm honest, probably somebody Hispanic, somebody that doesn't have kids, and definitely wasn't married before. So I went tit for tat.
He with the Mike Tyson. He
No,
put
he was-
the boxer out.
So-
quickly.
And
So
then
Marcos, that's a prime example of what we like to call on this podcast pulling a Chris Brown. Okay? You pulled a Chris Brown.
like I was like,
I
and
need a shot of
then
whiskey for this one. Shit.
and then here's the
It's in the
thing,
kitchen.
and I don't know about you guys. I'm a punk, I guess, in certain relationships. I felt bad, and not like I felt I spent some time apologizing afterwards. Like it took us a couple days to be good, and I completely disregard the fact that she told me straight up that she thinks I'm handsome, but her type is a motherfucker she's never dated. I seen her baby father and her ex-husband. I was like, Morris, who, my nigga? Like, what?
And Morris Walnuts, not
Yeah,
Morris
that's not. Yeah,
Chestnuts.
that's not her. That's not her type. That's what she is. That's what she desires. Two different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm like, and you know what? Like going to what you said, like, of course, your real family, they know, especially the elders in your family or like your older siblings, they won't tell you the real truth until you're ready to hear it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
when we got separated and going through the divorce process, my brother-in-law, my sister told me, they were like, she's been changing you since day one, and we try to tell you in different ways, and you didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And now you're finally ready to hear it. It was like you stop doing your hobbies. She would be getting upset when you prioritize your nephews over things, or like you ever been in a relationship with somebody that instead of them telling you they didn't like spending time with your family, they'll make stuff like a deal. Like it was funny. Like she said something about like why your nephews act like they're so urban. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like they just be watching YouTube. I'm like, they still live in Baltimore. Just because they live in a good part of Baltimore does not
Yeah.
mean that they're like, hey, everybody. It was like,
Yeah.
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 like relax.
Yeah.
But
All right,
like
so
I
hold on.
said,
Yeah. So
should have
hold.
handled things differently.
Yeah. All right. So getting back to the movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
We just went on a super tangent.
no,
Well,
no, no.
you had to get out the system, You
Yeah,
had to
no,
get the
but no,
story
but
out there.
there's another element to the movie that's very introspective. That's why, and like I want to get to that before we run out of time. But there's that relationship between like Sandro and then his mom and his dad. Like you got, like I said, you got the dad who was kind of overbearing and kind of try to mold this kid into, himself essentially. And then so he had this love for his dad. Like he felt like his dad was like the man. He did all this stuff to protect them. But then he also had this mom who he wasn't paying enough attention to see how much his mom was doing to protect him. Like he says in the movie, like, she, he, all this stuff that was going on in his life, like she never left his side. She
Hmm.
stayed by there the entire time. Like, if you're a Sandra, like, how do you, especially when you're that young, like, how do you approach that situation?
I don't
Chris,
call my uncle.
did you ever have that situation come up in your life where you had to like, not, I don't want to say pick and choose between two parents, but like when you
Yeah.
kind of like maybe doing something where you're like,
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to air everybody's shit out. Fuck 'em. You know what I'm saying? Just saying.
Uh,
Have I ever had to pick between two people or two
Well, I
parents?
mean, if you had a situation where like you almost something is like, I don't know, he knows his mom is protecting him, but then he's also got this other like these other lessons being taught by his dad on this side, and like he doesn't know which direction to go. Like, how do you approach that?
In my opinion, just because this is what I chose to do when I was found myself in a similar situation, I had to go sit by myself and block out all the outside noise,
Mm-hmm.
and just to make a decision that what I call being a healthy selfish was going to work for me. Like I ain't gonna say no names, but it wasn't my parents, but they were two parental figures.
Yep.
I see what you're trying to tell me and what you're doing, but also see the downside of everything you're doing too.
Yeah.
And I know where I came from and what I've done. And you're trying to make me be this way you want me to be. And I know where I came from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I had to remove myself from both parties
Yeah.
and just take what I could take from each one of them and just try to be the best version of me. And
Yeah.
I know it's not easy as a teenager to just distance yourself,
Mhm.
especially in a parent situation. But in my opinion, sometimes that's what you got to do. Go sit by yourself for a minute. Clear your own head out. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
How
Talk
did
to the universe.
how did get sitting by yourself like clearing your head out? Like, what did it help you see?
But I stayed drunk all the time, and I was like, "Yo, shit, this is where I need to be. Fuck y'all."
Was that good?
No,
Oh, man.
Was that good?
no, honestly, I just had to, I guess, grow up, like not be afraid to stand up to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how big I was until I had to be that big. And
Yeah.
I don't mean in size. I mean in confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you got to stand up to your parental figures or whatever. And it's like you get to that point now. I don't know if anybody can relate to this because my back door is always like fucking fight me. That's my last words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do whatever, fight me. But to get to that point, it's like this is what I feel. I love you. I respect you for this because you did teach me a lot of things.
Yeah.
I love you, not for this. You taught me a lot of things.
Yeah.
but I can't deal with the bullshit in the middle. So I'm going to take this and I'm going my own way. We can ride together or not. Pick your choice.
Yeah.
But I'm going this way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. That's kind of, I mean, that's kind of like how it was. I mean, not that in such an extreme case, but like, that's kind of like how it was for me with like, chasing wrestling.
Mhm.
And just kind of like, you got your parents who sacrificed literally everything. Literally everything. They left their family, everything they've ever known and loved, the country they grew up in to try to give you a better life. And you get to this country and your parents try to mold you into like what their idea of success is. Go to school, do your homework, go to college, become a doctor or engineer or something like that. That's the path to success. I gave up everything for you to do that, so go do that.
He
And I'm
said,
sitting
fuck
here,
y'all, I got dreams.
exactly. I'm sitting here like, no, I'm gonna go wrestle in this flea market in some tights for 10 people. You sit there and you're like, at some point when I'm younger, I'm like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, right?
Mhm.
Because this is my dream. This is what I want to do. So I'm gonna do what I want to do. And if you can't hop on that train, like, I'm sorry, you don't understand, but I got to do what I got to do.
Mhm.
Completely understandable. But then at some point in your life, you realize like, I can't hold that against my parents. Because sometimes you might sit there and you might have resentment towards them because they didn't support your dreams like they should have. But then you get
Or the
older,
way you think they should have.
yeah, or the way
Mhm.
you want them to. Like it's like they might be supporting you, but not the way you
Mhm.
want them to. So in the end, it looks like they're not supporting you. And then you get older and you realize like it's not that they're not supporting you. It's just that like they
They're
want the
doing the best
best.
they can.
Yeah, they're doing the best
Mhm.
they can, but they want the best for you. And because they don't have that vision, that same vision as you for what you want, they're not going to understand the vision you have. So don't fault them for just, trying to point you in the direction they think might work for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if I could use your parents as an example, their vision was getting out of Cambodia. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And by any means necessary. Or at least that's the story I got. You know what I'm saying? That you got to get out this country.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in my opinion, when you go through something traumatizing, it's never going to leave your brain. Like, I'm always going to remember a snake bite. I don't give a shit. No matter what I've done, that snake bite's probably the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to take it on me till I turn 80. So, them leaving the country is what's going to always be in the back of their mind because it was survival.
Mhm.
And they did their job. They gave you and your siblings everything that y'all needed to be where you are today.
Yep.
But in their mind, it's still survival.
Yeah.
In your mind, should I survive thanks to my parents?
Yeah. In my mind, it's like, hey man, you set me up to have the life you could never even dream of. So,
Hmm.
and I see what I can do in order to achieve that. Let me like
Yeah.
support me in that. Like, but to them, it's like, hey man, like I gave up everything. I got you here. Like, fucking don't waste it. Don't fucking waste it.
Mhm.
Fucking wearing fucking booty shorts and trying to do flips off the top rope. Like, come on.
I mean,
Oh
you could have just
gosh.
worn pants.
No,
I,
I wore the
I,
biker tights before. I wore
Oh,
everything except for the trunks. I can't do the trunks.
I don't know how you can
I'm
just
5'6" and
stand.
Asian. I can't do the trunks.
I don't know how you can stand around with trucks like, like everybody like just down, like
Hey, man,
almost Donald ducking it.
no,
you,
but if you in shape, you be
but
sitting there like
Bro,
you
that
be
shit is
stretching.
still weird. Like you walk
to
out
almost
the,
not ducking it. I expect that.
like with a t-shirt and your wrestling boots, and it's like the t-shirt is a little bit too long, and it's like, wait, is this
Yeah, he looked like
what
Winnie
is
the
going
Pooh.
on?
Oh man.
Yeah, no, but I can't. I was never in good enough shape to even, or that I could think where I could pull off trunks. You know. It
So
is what it
you a
is.
singlet
Yeah.
guy, just full
No, I
singlet,
literally
full
wore every.
body,
I've worn every kind of type of wrestling like
even the
gear.
MVP,
What's up?
the
Yeah,
MVP.
I have a full body suit that looks like Venom, and
Oh,
I had my wrestling mask attached to it. Still got it. It's in my closet.
you should wear that for a certain occasion.
Shoot. I'll wear that to the mall. Fuck a
Your imagination sucks. I swear it does.
Ooh,
It's a rats because
What?
when I use that thing for sexy time,
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, you always everything is for sexy time for you. Whipped cream,
I,
Venom suits, fucking
he's like, I think he goes to the mall and be like, man, this is a
Ecovac.
good T-shirt. This is a good T-shirt
I
for
know.
sexy times. It's like, hold on, he be putting it on and be like,
Go to
oh, okay.
He go to Home Depot, see a shop bag, be like, you know what? If she act up, I might.
it's in the shop there.
The only man that I know that got What is this shit? What's the shit that oh my god, the straps the cops be using to handcuff you instead of handcuffs?
Oh, the
Oh,
fucking zip
zip ties,
ties.
zip ties.
Yeah, Chris got mad zip ties. He's like, they cheaper than handcuffs. Like
It is,
what?
it is so much fun to
I
watch them
told you,
struggle.
Home Depot is a sex shop for Chris.
It'd be like,
Oh
what
man.
kind of lube do you recommend? It's like, what are you lubricating some screws? He's like, yeah, you can say that. You can say that.
Oh man.
He's like, do you need some cock? No, I got all my cock at home.
Sir, where's your plumbing section? Human plumbing.
Oh man. What? Hey, Jeffrey Dahmer over here. Shit, what's going on?
He's
Oh
like,
man.
this tarp. Is this tarp like Diddy rated? Like,
All right, so
Shit.
so an honest list, 1 through 5 of y'all.
Mhm.
Action movies. You take an extraction, place it in there in your top 5 action movies.
I already put it 3.
Yeah. Okay, but give me your 5. You said
Okay.
Raid 2, like B. You got to be completely honest about like
Raid 1, because till this day it is a genre defining action. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Raid 1, Raid 2, Extraction 2, Bruce Lee. It's a tie between his oh my god, it's Chinese Connection or Enter the Dragon, the tie.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then the 5th movie, like in terms action, the 5th movie. That's a tough one because I have so many. It's just like I'm going through my mind. Like, oh, it's gonna be oh my god, the Donnie Yen movie, SPL.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Killzone in America. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Where are you, Chris?
My top 5, of course, Raid 1. Like I told you, after I saw that just changed movies for me when it comes to action and martial arts.
Mhm.
I don't know if I put Raid 2 in second. That'd probably be third for me. I feel like the Protector probably Raid 2 or number 2 rather.
Okay.
Tony Jaa.
Yeah.
For once, well, actually 2 seeds when he fights the fire in the water, and
Yeah.
and then when he gets to the part where he sees the gold elephant, and his whole fight style at that moment is just breaking bones.
Yeah.
It's like that shit to me is dope. Like that's all he's focused on. This like this man and his enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so probably Raid 1, Sector, then Raid 2. I gotta put 300 up there, number 4.
Okay.
Even though it had good story in the CGI and everything,
Mhm.
like the way they did it, the action, everything. That's even it's one of my favorite movies. Just like the action in it was dope. So that's number 4.
Yeah.
And number 5 for me, when it comes to action, oh gosh. I don't know. I don't know if I got a 5. I probably have to, those ones sound so stupid and cliche. Probably Endgame.
Okay.
For when Captain America and Black Panther are running through the field and
That's
they take
Nah,
off.
That's Infinity War.
Okay, yes, Infinity War. Infinity War for action.
Yeah.
I would.
Go ahead.
The
Marcos?
best action Marvel movie is Winter Soldier. That for me takes it. That's a good
Winter Soldier
freaking-
is fucking good. That might actually. Thank you for bringing that up. That might actually be number 4 on my list. But one for me is Rumble in the Bronx. Just
Okay, I see. I remember you mentioning that why you liked it.
yeah, Rumble in the Bronx is just like up there. Like again, a lot of Jackie Chan movies are up there because it hits so many levels than just the action part.
Okay.
So I would do probably fucking I would do Rumble in the Bronx, Iron Monkey, The Raid, Winter Soldier. Then 5th might be Super Cop. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if there's any other action movies that like I watch on a regular basis. But it might be Super Cop.
Like I base my answers on the clean hand to hand. Like
So
I like that.
I base mine based on on not just the action. Like it's got to have the action's got to be good, but it's got to have it's got to have a story in there. It's got to pull me in emotionally and like humor, like if it has a little bit of everything. To me, Iron Monkey has a little bit of everything in there. The
Is
only
it,
thing it doesn't have is the gunfighting, which is, but it does have. Did Iron Monkey have weapons?
Yeah.
is it
Um,
Jackie Chan?
No, Iron
no,
Monkey's done.
Iron Monkey is Donnie Yen and I
Okay,
forgot
gotcha.
Tony Lyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both had swords at a certain point.
Okay.
He and because he was like a ninja.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's why I like the modern Jackie Chan movies, because again, once you start introducing the weapons into it, the guns and stuff like that, okay, then it becomes more of an action movie than instead of just a martial arts movie. But yeah,
Hmm.
even Super Cop, that fight scene when he's just like when he's doing the training and he's trying to like he's trying to like show off that he's like a high level police officer. And
Mhm.
the humor, the hand to hand, all that in that scene is, bro.
See,
I
and
mean,
I don't want to discredit Jackie Chan because his action is so dope in his movies.
Mhm.
And once you see that he's actually really doing it, and
Yeah.
like he's like the Asian Tom Cruise, you know what I'm saying? It's
I
like I
I,
don't want to discredit him, but
Well,
I love them in The
he's not going for
Foreigner.
brutality.
yeah, okay,
So that's the thing. Like you can't put a Jackie Chan movie and The Raid like in the same category, kind of, because they're two different. Like The Raid's is fucking brutal. And if you're
yeah.
going by, it's like someone who loves hardcore wrestling, like they the light bulbs and the tables. Like if that's your style of wrestling, you're never gonna like a regular wrestling match. But to me, a regular wrestling match will always be better than a hardcore match, because you don't have all the, for lack of a better term, the special effects and the explosions to hide,
Mm.
just the nitty gritty of what makes this thing really good.
See, going back to the Raid, I just think okay. This is okay. No, switch movies. Was it The Protector when he's running up the staircase
Yeah.
and the camera never cuts?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that whole scene is just dope.
Oh,
Like I don't know.
Listen.
I mean, it's gritty, but I mean, even when he goes in the room and he's standing on the top of the door in a full split.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And then like, that's art to me. You know what I'm saying?
It is. And the cinematography and the setup behind it is something to commend. But you
Mhm.
can't tell me that by the end of that scene, my man wasn't gassed. So some of those things were breaking a little too easy. Okay, that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. He threw one guy into
I
a
mean,
fucking sink and that thing shattered. I'm like,
one
Yeah.
of one of my favorite action movies that I consider an action movie that is a complete amazing movie, and there's two of them that come to mind. It is and I believe we might be going down that avenue. Or we at this point we've already dropped an episode.
Mhm.
It is
I gotta go take a piss. Talk to Chris about this. Hold on.
it
Oh,
is the
you ain't done that in
town,
a while.
and The Departed. Those are like
Hmm.
legit.
Okay.
Like to me, like they are like top tier. And it's ironic that two friends are the main characters in those
In both
movies.
movies, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like it's either Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, and it's like, oh, this is so hard. Yo, The Town has so many good parts in it. From
See,
the cop when he sees him getting out of the van, and the
Mhm.
cop is drinking his coffee, and he's like, "They don't pay." Like, nope.
See, I didn't realize how good The Town was when it came out. I saw the movie, but then I saw it again maybe like a month or so ago, just like on TV, just have to watch it. And I said, "Dude, this movie was really that good." You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like it had everything. The Town is one of those movies that I really wish people would watch. Like if you haven't seen The Town, I always tell people to watch The Town.
Oh, the town is amazing, and I love it because it's Boston.
I'm about to decide that he's
But
gonna be fucking biased.
Don't shit on The Town, bro.
no.
It had an
But
amazing cast.
listen. Just to hear me out. The Town is an amazing movie. It's one of my favorites. Amazing movie. It's in Boston, so I'm gonna love it there. But it's just white guy set it off, right?
Whatever. No,
Right?
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
no,
gets
it's
shot
not.
up
Ain't
in the
nobody
street,
doing
just like Queen
sexual
Latifah
favors.
and all that
Ain't
stuff.
nobody.
Nah, but
Ain't
they robbed
nobody
the
like,
bank.
oh.
No, it set it off.
What was the old guy? Was the old guy that he kept that Jada kept coming for him for money problems?
Oh, the pimp. I don't know what his
Yeah,
name was. But I know what you're talking about. She had to go get promoted, I guess, on the
yeah.
bench. But not like okay. Set it off was different though because that starts off with a bank a person in the bank, Vivica Fox, trying to actually live a good, decent life, and because she knows somebody that came to rob it, they got on her. See, like, if you already stereotype me, then fuck them, beat us. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, just watch the movies. Well, rewatch them again next to each other. You'll be like, yeah, I can see it.
I
Okay, so
love
so if they
and
were
the
a couple,
Departed are two.
who's
I'm
the
not
child
even from
and
Boston.
who they married to? Queen Latifah's boyfriend is what, Ben Affleck?
No, I'm not saying they married or not. I'm just
I'm
saying,
just saying.
like,
Who they be equivalent to?
no, because Ben Affleck would be the fucking the Jada character. He's the one that gets away.
Ben Affleck is
No,
having
Vivica
sex
Fox
to
got
get
away.
money.
No,
Oh, yeah,
Vivica Fox
okay.
is on the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way fucking what's his name? Who's the dude? Who's Hawkeye? Fucking Jeremy Renner.
Renner, yeah.
The way his character gets shot up at the end of the town is
I was mad about that.
that's just like
But
fucking
he
Queen Latifah
redeemed
set it off.
himself. He did that so Ben Affleck's character could get away, even though they were at odds. He was like, okay,
That's
like
my
they
favorite
shot
season
each
of
other
movie,
a
though.
look. That and
Not-
The Departed. I could watch those movies back to back for a week straight.
See,
Those two movies.
Now
And I'm
he
not
gets shot
even
up.
I'm not even a Boston guy. Like, but those movies are cinema, bro. And then it's
Look.
insane to me that two childhood friends are the leads in both movies.
But look, if you want to know how close your boy is, walk up to him and say, "Look, so that's no questions. We got to go see somebody, and we got to hurt him." If he responds with, "What car we taking?" That's your dude.
Yeah.
Because that's what Ben Affleck
The
said
only
to
thing that I
Jerry
like
Renner.
about that scene is that they were Dominicans. They were Dominicans. I was like, but then I know about the Dominican Boston people. Like I have a bunch of cousins. They're fucking knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, it's funny, like, if you look up at you, like, yo, what car we taking? Like, yo, fuck you. We doing whatever we're doing, whatever you think you got to do right now.
In my
That's your
20s,
man's.
in which I assume that's where they were at. They were like their late 20s, early 30s.
Mhm.
Definitely. 43-year-old married Marco's like, fuck out.
No, but yeah,
No. I definitely think about it now. But if Ciroc came to me like, Chris, especially knowing how I like to do things sometimes, I got a problem. There's no question. Just so I got to hurt somebody. But yo, how we getting there?
Oh, Chris be
But
like,
there's the other side of it.
All right.
There's the other side of it that's not as glamorous. Have you guys been watching White Lotus?
No.
Oh, well,
That's
never
racist.
mind.
Why you got to ask the Asian man about White Lotus?
No, it's
Oh,
a good
God.
show. It's in the zeitgeist.
Well, you are wearing a turkey shirt. I mean, come on now.
It's 5K.
Anyway.
I run for the turkey. Y'all run
You
to
run for-
the turkey.
You're up for Thanksgiving?
I don't like turkey at all. I don't like
Yeah.
Thanksgiving food at
I like-
all.
I like
What?
it on a
I
sandwich.
don't, man. That's
Turkey
so
bacon
bland.
ribs?
I like Hispanic Thanksgiving.
What is that? Canepas and some
A couple
No, it's just like
Y'all got to do,
Like-
y'all do Goya pork chops too.
pernil.
no, yeah, they make pernil and stuff like that. Like my family, my sister does Thanksgiving the perfect way. After like the kids were all like,
No, the perfect
lot
way
of-
or her way.
I was about to say a lot of alcohol.
yeah,
and dancing.
well, the perfect way for my family,
Okay.
which is like because my mom used to came to the realization when I was, I'm the baby of the family. When it was just me and her, she'd be like, "You don't like turkey." I was like, "No." She was like, "All right, so what do you want for Thanksgiving?" And then it was like, after a certain age, I think my oldest nephew's like, "Yo, nobody likes turkey," and then my sister's like, "What? I don't like it either." It's like, why the hell we cook turkey for
No
Thanksgiving?
motherfuckers don't know how to cook turkey. That's
No,
the
turkey's
problem.
No,
fucking disgusting.
it's just like-
Turkey is delicious.
You
Y'all just don't
no,
know how to cook it.
It's good
No,
on the
it's
fucking
like I've
sandwich.
had turkey from everybody, and it tastes good. But turkey, I like the sliced turkey for sandwiches. That's it.
Mhm.
I don't need to eat
That motherfuckers.
like
I just listen. The
Unless it's a smoked
bad,
turkey
it's-
leg from the biggie or something. Nah.
or like turkey burgers. I love turkey burgers, but like an actual turkey, carving it with potatoes and fucking all this other yams and shit like that. Like none of that shit goes together in my mind because I'm mad Hispanic. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh man, no collard greens, macaroni and cheese, no
No,
cornbread.
No,
no,
you like
I'm
that.
like,
No, come on. You just
bro.
No.
It's to the point that when Lily cooks, when we host for Thanksgiving, like because we do the dry run because we can't take Thanksgiving from her parents. Also, it's stressful. So I'm like, cool. So we'll cook it like for Friendsgiving or something. She knows to make me rice. Her cousin knows to make me rice because I'm that Hispanic, bro. I'm
Okay,
like,
like the yellow rice with the beans and the
Yeah,
other good stuff.
no,
in it?
they like Lily knows how to make great like Spanish rice, and her
Arroz
cousin
con
is like,
dule.
yeah, but like they don't make a thing. Like Lily made it for me like a couple years ago, and then her cousin was here for the Friendsgiving, and her cousin does a spectacular like TV movie Friendsgiving, like
Cool.
sends invites, and there's like a
Yeah.
table for desserts. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this fight motherfucker's over. Like, no, it's like a thing, and it's
You got
amazing. We go every year, and she always has a little pot of rice for me, and I was like, girl, when do you have the time? She was like, Friendsgiving is important to me.
Nah, I'd be like, you need to, go get this turkey and learn to love it.
nah,
Learn
fuck
my
that.
culture,
Nah.
as Lily would say, learn like you gotta learn her culture. That's her
As a
people.
matter of fact, it brings a tear to my eye. They made me a steak last year, man. A
That's
steak,
terrible.
dog.
That's terrible, man.
Everybody, and then the haters, people
The
that are like, oh, I
tip,
can't wait, I can't wait for that turkey,
Like putting on Van. That's like putting on Van Halen at a quinceanera, man. That's fucked up.
bro. They made me a small steak. My
no.
wife made it for
How?
me.
Hold on, wait. How is the most non-American person here talking about Thanksgiving?
I don't
Like,
know.
like he
He's
was
try-
like
he's-
he was the one that wasn't born here. He's like, I need turkey. We're like, I know we're the minorities.
No,
In this
I'm
group,
just saying.
me and you, Marcos.
Listen,
We're like,
Chris.
fuck that damn turkey.
No, Chris, because we understand this. Me and you, as fat kids, we understand this. It ain't the ingredient; it's the cook.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
Very
Y'all
true.
just
but
ain't
if I
had
don't
good
like
turkey.
the ingredient, like
Y'all
people always
just ain't had
they
good
take it
turkey.
as a personal challenge. Like people like, oh, like I don't eat seafood. People like, oh, you haven't tried my seafood. I was like, it don't matter who seafood it is, dog. I don't like it. Like it's like Lily once a year she'll make like off cycle, I like to call it, Thanksgiving food during a random period of the year because she loves Thanksgiving. When I say loves it, like when she brings leftovers, that shit'll be there for like a week straight. She'll eat it for a
Yeah.
week straight. I'll just eat whatever I want to eat. Like I'll order out or whatever because she's like, nah, I'm locked in. I'm locked in until all these.
Some
Yeah,
stuffing, some
Ugh.
turkey.
bro, I can tell you how Caucasian or ghetto, whatever you have, she loves the
It's called ghetto?
the jelly, whatever the hell, what
Cranberry
is it? The
sauce?
cranberry sauce out the can,
Even I know that one.
like out the can, dog. And I'm like, what?
The
She's like,
jelly.
it just
Eat
hits
the shit
different.
out the can, like
Oh
No,
gosh.
she like it's like what time of year? And I was like, and I guess I told her, I tried to explain to her, she's like, no, it's the food. And I was like, it's the memories behind them.
no.
Just like
Listen, stuffing is legitimately delicious. Okay, stuffing and
only if it has sausage.
no. See, if
I'll
you
eat
had-
stuffing.
listen,
Like
so I had one made with net bone. That was
no, I don't know.
if you had a Spanish flavored stuffing, you'd be like, "Fuck yeah, this is good." What you got? Sazon in here, some adobo. But yeah,
You're telling me you ain't never had a Thanksgiving empanada, which is just empanadas that are serving Thanksgiving? Those are
I'm
fire.
saying
My
it's not-
sister,
maybe you haven't had it done in a way that you like it, but I don't think it's the ingredient. I think
it's funny
whoever's cooking.
because
We like certain seasonings.
we trade off, right? So last year, my sister stayed in Florida because she was like, our mom passed, and she was like, I'm not doing this big Thanksgiving thing because she like it'll be us and then my nephews and then their significant others and then it's like an extended like friends and then like kids that been around like my nephew's friends that it'd be like oh the like my sister's house is like oh she be getting down. It's like it's a production
Yeah.
and like hopefully this here comes back. But my sister straight up, she'll as soon as I walk in, she'll be like, yo, one empanada until they're out. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, nah, man, me and my nephews, we 1 year she made a basket of empanadas. They were gone before she put the first plate down.
okay, Mark, let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
When you get the rice, there's a certain type of particular rice I like.
I like all rice.
Okay, so
Just
do
to
I.
put it out there.
Okay, so we all agree that we like rice. Okay, cool. Now, the rice I like has to be yellow. I'm not going to say a lot of shit rice, right? The little black beans in it, some ham, the orange potatoes.
That sounds like locrio, bro.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. Like, is the rice like that?
That's how locrio. It's kind of like a stew, but rice. It's like they throw in a whole bunch of. That's a one pot meal.
Yeah, because like the rice is like the bottom layer, and then they got like the beef and the potatoes and the carrots and like the olives and everything all in there with it.
That's a locrio or I know Salvadorans or Ecuadorians call it chufla or it's something like that. It's like
okay,
it's a fried rice.
Yeah.
To that culture. We don't ours Like I eat every bean legume that's out there, and that's something that my wife is impressed. She's like, you like this? I was like, my mom used to just make as long as you put rice with it, like it tastes good. I don't care. Like
I was
like
gonna
you
say,
like lima beans? It was like they're beans, aren't
yo,
they?
yo, hey, if he ever goes to Massachusetts with one of us, make sure you take to that spot and do it. See if
Yep.
he likes it.
Oh yeah. The Puerto Rican spot.
Oh yes, indeed. Where
We
they got
should
the grease
we
on
should
the
go.
glass.
We should just make a trip and have a live podcast at that restaurant without them knowing. Just say,
Sure, no, they would know. That place is tiny.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Got one chair there.
Final thoughts on Extraction 2. Since this was your movie, Marcos, you go first.
amazing movie. Make sure you raise your child to not call his murderous uncle. They ruin things.
Dude, that's the line when he goes, "Do you think he's gonna kill my mom?" He goes, "If you wanted her alive, shouldn't have called." I was like, God damn.
I would have punched him right in the face, like, "Pow! Shut up,
No,
kid."
but in that moment, the kid had to be like, "Fuck!" When you again, a kid acts emotional, makes a decision, and then all of a sudden you're just like, "Now, okay, these are the consequences that come with your decisions. But you're gonna have to learn." What are you, Chris?
Yo, he didn't realize it. Like although that scene happened way earlier, he didn't realize it until Tyler's laying there bloody after he shot his uncle. Like that's when he realized, like, maybe this is a bad idea. Like,
Ain't it
yo, I would have
concept
rocked
the first
that
one?
kid. I would have rocked that kid, bro, so hard. Like as I'm sitting there, I would have mustered, like as I'm recovering, I would have mustered all the strength I had and just like give him a concussion. Like, look at
Man.
all this shit that's happened.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you, Chris? What you think of the movie?
Definitely a good movie. Go watch. Good action. Not even trying to downplay it like that. Yeah, it's a fun watch. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get bored or you find something wrong with it, like I said, my only wrong thing was, of course, the helicopters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
First of all, that fake ass helicopter that was coming towards him when they was looking outside the fucking skyscraper and your shit was going, I was like,
Yeah.
bro, that shit like an RC.
first of all, that is number one, the movie that it's always loaded on every device that I have. Like, you know how Netflix lets you download them?
Mhm.
That's in case of I ain't got nothing else to watch. I throw that movie on when I travel.
See, I'm
That's
like
fun.
that with Ramen Heads. You ain't never heard
Really?
Oh, the show?
No.
the movie.
Oh,
The documentary.
I gotta check it out.
Okay, yeah, mine's Gladiator 300.
Yeah.
Or Big Fish.
I thought this movie was really good. Great action movie. Like, especially for a fucking Netflix. Like, man, this shit, if Extraction 1 and 2 were in theaters, I think it would have made fucking some good money.
Now, it would have been dope to see the big screen. I will
Yeah.
say that.
I would have loved this. Like, part 3, motherfuckers, put this in the theaters. Like, it's a fucking good. It's not like one of those ones where they do some shit where you're like, that was kind of cheesy or whatever. No, it's legitimately like really good. Like, you should put this out there. But yeah, it's a great movie. Go check it out, especially if you're an action aficionado. But anyways, all right, that's the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. Once again, it is your boy Sarat, aka Makazi.
It's your boy Marcos, aka At the Sunset Kid. How y'all doing out there?
Your boy Chris Brown, aka what the
I'm making sure that I do more than you now.
look, it's just the deuces for me. But yeah, Chris Brown, aka Red Ford Dudson. Y'all go find a pork chop. It's some rice.
Oh, and the next couple of weeks, we're gonna do some special movies. I'll tell you all about it. I had an idea. I'll tell you about it later. But just keep up with us and fucking.
He's gonna wear his Venom suit.
I'll stand up every time too.
I'm a warrior.